Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT This Morning.
Now at 5 a.m. on your Monday, a Paris man accused of hitting his brother with a car and killing him will be in court in Lexington later today. We'll have the latest on that case coming up this morning.
An update to a story out of Washington State. Another victim in a high school shooting has died overnight.
And we've learned that a Lexington police officer injured in a crash is doing better. We'll have those stories and more. And breaking news as it happens. It's coming up on WKYT This Morning. Good morning to you and welcome. It's so good to have you with us. Hope you enjoyed that fabulous weekend. I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Rebecca Smith. Really couldn't complain about the weather.
That's right. And you can't today.
Yeah.
It looks even better, if you can believe that. Similar to yesterday, but warmer. Let's check in right now with meteorologist Micah Harris. He is in our First Alert Weather Center. Good morning.
And boy, does things look good outside. I mean, they look fantastic. Not only are we starting off with a fairly decent start, and what I mean by that is it's still on the cool side just a bit. There's live sky camera holding on to good-looking skies outside. We do have a few clouds here and there, but all in all, it's really not all that bad. Now let's go temperature-wise, because temperature-wise, we're going to be seeing some pretty decent temperatures this morning, 40s, 50s outside. It's not all that bad. So it's one of those, yeah, you can take a light coat along with you, especially those kiddos sitting out by the bus stop. If you're in, say, Mount Sterling, Camargo, you're right there in the mid-40s. Work your way down to Somerset, maybe even London, Corbin area, sitting there in the mid-40s. But other than that, we're doing all right. Planning out your Monday looks great. And here's what I'm talking about. We start off in the upper 40s, lower 50s. But look as we go throughout the day. I mean, we're talking a big increase of temperatures. 77 by the afternoon, 77 degrees. We're getting close to 80 degrees in some locations down south. That means one thing, a big blast of cold air is going to be funneling in, but when? Well, I'll show you that forecast coming up in about 10 minutes.
Okay, we look forward to that, and let's get to the news. Friends of two Kentucky brothers say that a fight between the two turned deadly over the weekend.
45-year-old William Watkins from Paris is charged with reckless homicide and DUI after running down his brother, Brian, in his truck. He'll be in a Lexington courtroom later today, and WKYT's Mark Barber is live at the courthouse with the latest on the case.
Good morning, Bill and Rebecca. Family members of the brothers say after the two men got into an argument, 45-year-old William Watkins got into a truck and took off. Now, police say after his brother stepped in front of the pickup, he was hit and killed. Watkins is now charged with reckless homicide and DUI because investigators say witnesses told them after he crashed into his brother Brian, he staggered out of the truck and was unable to speak clearly. We're told their argument turned violent around 11:30 Friday night when the brothers were visiting a family member's house on Woodview Drive. Neighbors tell us they heard the crash and ran to help.
They were screaming, my brother, my brother. The driver threw himself on top of the man that was laying there and then rolled him over. And of course, me and the lady that was talking to the 911 operator said, don't move him, but he did anyway. And that's when we got to see what really happened.
We're told Brian Watkins died after he was rushed to UK hospital. Now, while family members say they are still working on his funeral arrangements, his brother William Watkins is scheduled to appear in court today to be arraigned on charges of DUI and reckless homicide. Live in Lexington, Mark Barber, WKYT.
All right, Mark, thank you.
We have some sad news to pass along this morning. Another victim of a school shooting at Marysville-Pilchuck High School outside of Seattle, Washington, has died.
And area hospital says 14-year-old Gia Soriano passed away Sunday night. 14-year-old Jalen Freiberg opened fire on Friday in his school cafeteria, killing one and injuring 4 others before shooting and killing himself. Freshman student Zoe Galasso was the student who died at the scene, and 3 others are still in the hospital. 14-year-old Shaylee Chucklasnick and 15-year-old Andrew Freiberg are in critical condition. 14-year-old Nate Hatch listed as serious condition this morning. New this morning, we have learned that the name of a man who died in a motorcycle wreck over the weekend has been released. Boyle County Sheriff's deputies now say 54-year-old Willie Wilson of Houstonville died at the scene of the crash in Boyle County. That crash happened on Forkland Road near Parksville in the gravel switch area around 6:30 on Saturday afternoon. Deputies say Wilson was driving his motorcycle on the road and tried to navigate a curve when he swerved in the opposite lane and hit a pickup head-on. No word on the condition of the pickup's driver.
We have an update on a story we brought you last night. Lexington police tell us one of their officers has been released from the hospital after she was involved in a wreck. Police and fire crews worked for hours cleaning up that crash involving an officer on Winchester Road and Eastland Parkway. Police tell us the officer was responding to a gas leak at Winchester and Fortune. When she tried to turn left at the intersection, someone hit the side of her cruiser. We're told crews rushed the officer and 2 others to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
Our time is now 5:05 on WKYT this morning. The Danville business owner shot over this weekend has told us what happened between him and the man who police say tried to kill him. Danville police charged Jerry Mathis with attempted murder. They say he shot at Rick Cole on Friday night. Cole told us Mathis was doing some work on his car but hadn't finished the job. When Mathis asked for the money early, Cole wouldn't give it to him. We're told the 2 men started wrestling over a gun, and that's when Mathis shot Cole.
Jerry kept trying to maneuver the gun up towards my head and kept pulling the trigger. I could feel the gun hammer slapping against the inside of where that I had wedged my finger there. If my hand had not been wedged there, Jerry tried to shoot me at least 5 or 6 times.
Mathis is in the Boyle County Detention Center. He declined our request to give his side of the story.
In Rockcastle County, the sheriff's office investigating a fire out of Mount Vernon. Crews went out to a house fire on Brush Creek Circle today. They say the home is in a very remote area and they had a limited water supply, so they had to use nearly 6,000 gallons of water from Wolf Creek to put out that fire.
A power outage in Montgomery County put hundreds of people in the dark over the weekend. Crews think the outage started after a transformer malfunctioned near the Camargo community. At around noon Sunday, more than 1,000 people were without power. Kentucky Utilities crews were able to restore power for most of the people later in the afternoon.
Investigators in Lexington trying to figure out what led to a stabbing on Alexandria Drive. Crews rushed 2 people to the hospital with injuries Sunday morning. Police say someone stabbed one of the individuals in the stomach.
Major League Baseball is mourning the loss of one of their own this morning. St. Louis Cardinals outfielder Oscar Taveras died Sunday in a car accident in the Dominican Republic. Taveras was just 22 years old. His girlfriend was also in the car with him and died as well. Baseball Commissioner Bud Selig released a statement shortly after learning of Taveras' death, saying Game 5 of the World Series will be played in memory of both Taveras and his girlfriend.
Congressman Andy Barr and challenger Elizabeth Jensen squaring off tonight for their second and final congressional debate. It's taking place at EKU's Center for the Arts tonight at 7 o'clock. Jensen and Barr went head-to-head last Monday on KET. The Affordable Care Act, a big topic of discussion in that debate. You'll be able to watch this one live on the CW Lexington. When you tune in, you'll see WKYT's Bill Bryant there to moderate these two. So